giving a tour with a former player, Oliver Fernandez, who's just a big wheel. He's here speaking to the engineering school, and he came over to see me because he's one of the few people that actually likes me. Great kid when he was here, great student, tough, hard-nosed football player, but just, so he's back on campus speaking at the engineering school today, so we're just kind of getting ready to show him live.
Excited to have him back in this morning. I think I was telling you, Oliver played football, so we had a chance to reconnect with Coach Hicks, who was close with him. He was here.
There you go. Where the front entrance is. So are you here speaking to the engineering program?
Yeah, there's a program today for the, and it's called Industry Day. So this is National Engineer Speak. We try and do some type of programming throughout the week.
Very
so it's a
good.
great opportunity to, focus on career and professional development.
Man, it's amazing.
And networking.
It makes me so proud sometimes to see when our guys come back.
It's so important to understand your why, because when you get out of Syracuse and the real world happens, and then things come up, and you're gonna face challenges, you're gonna face roadblocks, you're gonna face all the things that you never expected to face. Your why is the thing that's gonna pull you through. And everything that you want and everything that you desire, someone else has the authority or has the ability to help you get that. And the only way you can get that is by getting outside of your comfort zone. If you are shy, going to the events like you guys are all here today, and making those relationships. Anybody's parents ever tell them not to talk to strangers? Yeah, probably everyone, right? So I was this 23-year-old kid. I just graduated from Syracuse. A lot of stuff had happened. I got a job out of Syracuse. I got laid off. My company gave up on me. So I'm in DC because I was renovating this house. I was 23 years old, and I was going out to the back alleyway to take out some trash. And I run into a stranger, and he was an older gentleman. He had actually been in the neighborhood for the last 30 years, and he had seen all of the craziness that had gone through the neighborhood, like anything you can imagine, from drugs, the blah, 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 right? And here I was renovating this property, and he's like, he was just so amazed to see to hear about what I was doing. And he then asked to come see what I was doing. I was like, of course, let's go. We walked right down the alleyway, and I showed him what I was doing. And he's like, oh my God, you did this? He's like looking at like the renovated and the new drywalled ceilings and the new kitchen cabinets and the new bedrooms and bathrooms. He's like, I cannot believe it. Like, I've seen so much crazy stuff happening in this neighborhood, and then to see it renovated and to see you, like no one ever expected me to be doing it. It was like, he's like, oh my God. And the cool thing about that story is that I ended up, like 2 years later, I ended up buying $1 million worth of real estate from him for $20,000. And the cool thing about the $20,000 is the $20,000 wasn't even mine. But the only way I had that opportunity is because I got out into the marketplace, talked to strangers. And he had something, he was 91, 92, 93, 4 years old, and he didn't want these properties. I mean, these properties were beaten down. They literally had, like, the way he was showering in the properties is he had a water line, right? And you know, like the hose spigots? He literally would like go under the water line, turn on the hose spigot, and the water would come down on him. He was like an old World War II vet, and like he was willing to live like that. And I got the properties because I was young, hardworking, willing to do whatever it takes to make my dreams and goals a reality. And that was the start. I mean, I ended up taking $500,000 out of one property and then invested it in more real estate. And then I took $500,000 out of the second property of the two that he sold me and started buying more real estate. And the next thing you know, it's like, holy cow, $400 million worth of real estate later. It's like, but that was the start. The start was networking, getting out there and connecting with people.
The story may have changed a little bit. Now this is reasonable. We're doing this too. We're doing everything to try to raise. So this may have been redone. Oh wow, yeah, this is it. Yeah, you reached that old table and beat up chair. So this is not going to be touched. This is up to par with what we compete against for recruiting. We created all this just really for recruits. So Baby Doll finally retired.
Really?
Yes, the Baby Doll's not in there. Miss Andy's still here. We did feed you pretty good. Now we'll go back over to what you're used to. Cinder block walls.
Nice. Were you on Scott? So you were on scholarship?
I actually walked on here.
Oh, you walked on.
Yeah, and
okay.
I did engineering and football, and it was a lot. I mean, I was just telling Coach Hicks, and it's like there's so many, like we used to do these workouts of 6 a.m. morning workouts, and it was just like every grueling exercise you can imagine, and it's just like you got to keep going and going and going and going, and it's just like kept getting better, didn't break, never broke, just kept getting better. And then it's like next thing you know, you're traveling with the team, next thing you know, you're going to the Notre Dame games, you're going to like all of these good games, next thing you know, I'm getting playing time. So it was just kept building and working, and it's like those exact same blueprint I'm literally taking to business.
I was just thinking, I bet that was directly transferable to how you developed your business and working hard and just staying with it.
I don't know what you're going to talk to them engineering people about today, but I can tell you one thing I tell them is the difference in regular guys and guys that become very, very successful, to me, is true character. And one of the definitions of character is what you do when nobody's looking.
Yeah.
And you always did the right thing. You always did the right thing and were tough as nails. So I don't know why. Hi, how are you?
So where are you working now?
I have my own company. We do construction. Started off as a subcontractor. Now we're like the general contractor. We completed over $100 million worth of projects. That's exciting years. Yeah.
He was just saying that Luther told him that one of the last things he remembered about Luther told him that you can do anything you want to do because you'll never quit. He's one of the toughest.
Yeah.
So the hard work.
Wait, 100%. Man, they used to have us on our back for 30 minutes, like legs up, down, right, left. I'd be like, oh my god.
Doesn't it shake your mind?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like so
Such
much.
an impact.
Did your parents, like, you go to a gas station and like they start filling up in gas and they like start talking to everybody? Anybody's parents do that? Yeah. That was my dad, and I hated it. And he would always be like, hey, this is my son Oliver, he's a graduate of Syracuse. And I would be like, oh, why are you introducing me to everybody and like talking to everybody? It's like, it used to irk me to like my inside. And when I was trying to get my business off the ground, we started off as like a subcontractor. And what a subcontractor is like, you have like the Syracuse University, and then they will hire a general contractor who handles the whole project. And then the general contractor will hire little smaller subcontractors to go and execute on the project, the individual tasks. Like you had an individual task to install flooring. I was a subcontractor, would go install the flooring. And I was getting beat up so bad in that marketplace because I was putting money out, I was doing a great job, and the customer was happy, everybody was happy, but then when I went to go bill for my work that I did, the general contractor would always like tell me like, oh, well you need this form, or you need that form, or you need this form, and the next thing you know, like it was 90 days or 120 days before I got paid, and like you can't build a business if you don't have cash flow. So we got into $500,000 in the hole, like, and this was before I'd ever even made 6 figures. So you can imagine how scared I was, right? I was like petrified. I was like, I still get emotional about it because it's like, how did I get here? I'm like, dude, I just graduated from Syracuse. I worked so hard there, and I got all these cool things happening, and then like, my business is $500,000 in the hole. And I was so scared, and I remember having that conversation and telling my wife for the first time, and she's like, I believe in you. I know you got it. You can do it. And my dad introduced me to a guy who was a general contractor. And after being a subcontractor and getting $500,000 in the hole, I wanted to be the general contractor because I knew that like if I touched the money first and I could control my own destiny, I wouldn't have to like listen to all this back and forth that these general contractors were making me go through. And my dad connected me, like the same person that I used to hate him, like always introducing me into people. He met this guy at a gym, and he was a general contractor, and he did government work, and he connected me with this guy, and I was like, oh, it actually paid off. So he connected me with this guy, and he was a guy that did general construction projects for the government, $1 to $5 million, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. So rule of thumb for you guys, when you're looking for mentors and you're looking for things that you're interested in, you want to find people that have done exactly what you wanted to do, because they can actually give you the ingredients of the step-by-step process to follow in their footsteps. So he'd done exactly what I wanted to do, and we made a connection, and I went and met him, and he told me that he would help me get projects, but he said he wouldn't give me any of the projects that or any of the contacts that he had. So I had to go out there and make phone calls and build those relationships. I called every day for a year. I was making phone calls, and I landed my first opportunity. It was a $500,000 job in Sanibel Island, Florida. And the cool thing about making all those phone calls is after we landed that first job in Sanibel Island, Florida, my phone started ringing, because all of the seeds that I had planted, all of the connections and relationships I had planted, now they were coming back to me, because now they knew I had gotten that project down in Sanibel Island in Florida, and they knew we did well on it because I was telling them that we did well on it, and now all of a sudden they wanted me to do their project. So then we landed an $800,000 job in Panama City, Florida, and then we landed a $2.6 million job in Albany, Georgia. Like, these are places that I never even dreamed of going. But I went to the opportunity. That relationship that my dad created by being out in the marketplace and networking and introducing that person to me, and then I was able to take that relationship. We've now done over $100 million worth of projects. And now the big goal, right? This is another cool thing, is that once you guys are out in the marketplace and you start hitting your goals, don't just be satisfied. Set the new goal, right? Set the new target. I had like all of these things that I had thought I wanted in life, and then all of a sudden I was like 27, 28 years old and I had them. I was the saddest I ever had been in my life. Why? Because I never set that new goal. So now the new target is to do $100 million in a year. And last year we did 20. This year we're on track to do 50. And I'm excited to be here, guys.
Kyle and Jimmy are still here. You remember Oliver?
Yes, I do. The sun's in my eyes right here. How we doing? What brings you to Syracuse?
I'm coming to speak with Kelly at the engineering department. So
Oh, okay.
I'm excited about
Yeah.
sharing.
How you doing, Kyle?
When it snows out, you bring out the old coat. It's the old snowboarding coat.
Oh yeah, this is 25 years old. You know how many people want this jacket? Athletes.
Yeah.
When are we getting those? Things like that.
Well, since that's not even our logo anymore.
No, I know.
Somebody told us it was an SJ.
That's right. Yeah.
And Oliver Fernandez, he's played football here.
Oh, is that right?
He's back speaking today.
Oh, great.
He's our volleyball coach. We just got him. We were lucky. He's very, very successful.
Oh,
That's great, man. I love watching the girls
Man, that's a nice outfit you got on.
Once in a while, they dress me up
You know, I don't have nothing like that.
like a Build-A-Bear.
I don't have nothing to do. Yeah, he played linebacker for us.
Nice to see you again. Welcome back.
I like showing him off, you know, because I want to say he just came to visit me, but really he came to speak at the engineering schools. And she can tell you, all these people I bring by, I always try to come see if John's here and all that former players and everybody goes, well, why are you so, I said, okay, I got guys in the NFL, but I got other guys that have done way bigger, better things. And I am so proud that I got the chance to coach them. I always bring them by and I always brag on them.
Yeah.
You know, I always brag on my guys.
I'm a huge contributor to who I am as a person. I remember literally, I've said it 14 times, but it's like all the workouts and the pushing and the grinding and the shoving and like, but you know, and I didn't break, and then I just kept getting better, and it's like, man, it's
you
like,
know what
that's
makes
what
me
it's about.
better is somebody like you that doesn't break. I got to create some more stuff to try to break it.
That's why you did them for an hour. You're obviously a very accomplished and comfortable public speaker. So these are kind of questions. These are kind of questions that are asked to a lot of different alumni that have been at our tables. But how did you get to that point, and what advice would you give to people who are uncomfortable speaking in public and like giving presentations?
Come here. Seriously.
you get here by coming up here and doing it. I swear on everything I love. I used to do this meetup in Washington, D.C. I get so emotional about this stuff because it comes from so much pain and so much willing to do whatever it takes. But I used to do this meetup, and I used to be so scared to do the meetup. I would literally have my whole thing like planned on a piece of paper, and I'd be reading on the paper, and I feel so stupid about it now, even though it's been like 3 or 4 years. But you have to just get out there and do it. And even if you feel stupid or you feel like people are gonna, like, nobody's worried about it. Like, no, like, only person that's even worried about it to this day is me. You know, like, think about how many things are going on in everybody's life, right? So just, and then also finding mentors. Like, I told you how scared I was in the beginning. Like, I had a mentor that like brought me on stage in front of 10,000 people live, and then there was like another 15,000 people virtually. Like, you have to be around people that are gonna like force you to grow. Like, I didn't even know he was bringing me up, and he brought me up, and I'm like, I had to deliver. But I'm so glad that I did those meetups, and I got out in front of people, and then I did it one time, and then I did it a second time, and I got a little bit more comfortable, and then now I can stand in front of you guys.
I remember when I first came here to Syracuse, like my goal was to like take care of my mom and 3 sisters, you know? Like there was nothing more that I focused on than that, you know? And that's what drove me through like dealing with anything and everything through engineering and football and all of that stuff. And then once I left here, it was the same thing, because now it's like trying to take the things that I learned here to try to make it in the real world, because like the real world's different than Syracuse, right?
Well, and you have so much to offer from a mentorship standpoint. You know, there's the kind of the support on the financial side, but just, you know, helping navigate, you know, because sometimes that's what, you know, you need when you're younger is just, you know, point in the right direction or a conversation that's gonna, you know, change the path. You know?
Yeah, that's why we like to have alumni like you even come back and talk to our students. And it's not even so much about what you're doing in construction or civil engineering, but it's even more those leadership traits. It's like, what does it take, you know, to be successful? If you want to own your own business, here's the things that it really does take, and to mentor students that way. Because
Pleasure, my friends. Take care. Don't be a stranger. Yeah.
I know.
Don't be a stranger.
Take care, again.
Take care.
So I walked on the football team here, and we were down at the Manly Fieldhouse, or like the Sam Lally Fieldhouse today, and the strength and conditioning coach was down there, and dude, like the stuff that I went through to like get 1 rep, to then get 2 reps, to then get 5 reps, to then get 10 reps. Like most people would have quit, they would have broke. I didn't break. So you can't break. And when you don't break, then that's when you can actually get the breakthroughs and you can apply the information that you do learn. And I got my brains beat. I remember the first call that I gave my mom after getting here in Syracuse. I was like, Mom, I don't know what I signed up for, but these guys are like 6'5" and 290 pounds, and they bench press 500 pounds. What did I do? And I was like, Oliver, you can quit. But I didn't quit. I didn't quit. I kept going and I kept going and I didn't break. And those exact learnings that I learned from there are the exact same learnings that I implement in my day-to-day life. You know, being a $500,000, like all of those things you can't break. You just gotta learn from it, but you gotta apply the information after you learn it, right? Yeah.
Hey there, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click subscribe down below and give me a thumbs up. You can reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook at Oliver Fernandez 3. I have new videos just like this one dropping every week. So drop a comment down below and let me know what you want to hear next. Until then, keep growing and keep learning. Just do it.